So speaking of fitting circles into triangles,
That's how you do it.
alright, we need to apply some continuity to this commentary series.
But it's a square, so it doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, welcome to Windy Valley. And these enemies are a good example for getting a high combo. As you can see there, we can get a much higher combo, and we already die.
Mission failed.
Oh,
The bridges are
that's the last
destructible.
time he was seen.
The bridges are destructible, so be careful about that. Anyway, you see that I got a 10 times combo. I got like 40 seconds up there, instead of usually like 15 seconds or so.
Wow, that's insane.
Those guys
I
are
love
really...
how-
Yeah, those guys are really good for getting high amounts of combos and lots of time for it.
Hit,
I love
hit,
how
hit everything.
I love how Omega, as a robot, is not fussed about his death. Like, it doesn't go, ah, or, oh god, I'm dead. He just goes, oh, mission failed. Oh well, it's goodbye.
He is
Isn't
a
it dumber?
He is a robot, so I guess it makes kind of sense.
I know, but
It is
kind
kind of silly.
Empty.
Anyway, so I think I ended up actually getting a lot of time from this. I don't remember how much time you start with, but I don't think it was like 5 minutes or so.
Imagine if it caps out at like an hour or so.
I don't think you could ever get that close even.
Wow.
Besides, even if you did, it would be more time than you ever need, since generally
Yeah.
these stages are really short. But we
and
do get
I
to-
doubt that a time limit would go up to like an hour, because usually Sonic games, especially the old ones, would go up to a time limit of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, you have to be careful about the bridges, because if you accidentally shoot them, they will destroy them. So if you're on them, you get what happened to me in the beginning. And I decided to hover because I want to hear more of this music, but no.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really a nice song. We don't get to hear it full thing of it.
Oh.
Anyway, here's the other brothers.
It's Mega
and-
Man if constructed by Eggman.
Yeah, and it's basically the same thing like Beta. They shoot rockets and you just have to lock onto them, and if you time it right, you just keep firing at them and preventing them from attacking you.
Those beeping noises were really pleasant to listen to, he lied sarcastically.
Yeah.
Oh, epilepsy.
And the birds flee.
Just kind of. Arf, I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but do you know what, there was that one arcade game where the end screen was like flashing yellow and red with the end on it? Like, just cut to
No,
that.
I don't know
when you
which one
defeat
you
the
mean.
boss.
Yeah,
Just
something.
give everyone an epileptic fit, why not?
But yeah, his victory animations are the best ones from all the characters. They're
Yeah.
actually... I don't know what went wrong in the process with the other characters.
I don't know.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, Gamma's story, by the looks of it thus far, is probably the most interesting one. Because it is, so, you know, a robot coming to terms with, like, oh, who's my boss? Like, what, you know, kind of posing ethical questions to himself and whatnot.
Yes, it's actually most best story in the entire game, to be honest. I mean, we all talked about Sonic, so I was like, Eggman, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the less talk about big story, the better.
Yeah, let's not mention it.
Too late.
No,
Anyway.
we can. We can. We're fine.
Yeah, anyway, so again, more of the same. You lock onto enemies, get yourself more time, and as long as you don't mess up too much, you shouldn't have too much trouble.
Actually, his stages look the best from all the ones, like, because you have so much action, like, bam, 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 shoot at like 10 million things.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the more fun stories, since, you know, you don't actually go extremely fast, but you still have to do like speedrunning, since you are on a time limit.
Unfortunately, they then screwed it up in Adventure 2. Because in Adventure 2, they removed the whole time element, but they also made it so that in order to get a perfect A, you had to destroy as many enemies with the whole, you know, sort of hold down the shoot button and target thing, which meant that if you were going for an A rank on those stages, you'd basically be hearing beep throughout the entire thing, because that's the sound that your sort of gun aiming makes.
Is this a real life, or is it just teeny tours?
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
My
I guess it's a good simulation of how it's like to have like tinnitus if you hold down the button forever.
Yeah. That happens when you play too much Sonic.
At the highest volume with people screaming at your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting camera angle there.
Yeah. There's nothing too much interesting here besides like the explosive blocks you have to shoot to in order to progress by lowering the giant plate rocks to open up a path and such. Anyway, there's the next robot brother.
Finish them. Mortal Kombat stuff.
And plot twist, it's
I have the high ground.
yeah, plot twist is this exact same thing.
It's over, Omega. I have the high ground. So there we
Oh,
go. I mean, come on, it's the right environment for
I know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hang on, let's see, did the
It's a
prequels
Star
come out?
Wars reference.
Hang on, let me see, did the prequels come out this time? Hang on.
But I don't know. Yeah, it was also around 2000.
Adventure 1 release
I think this one was 1999. This was before the first game.
I think 1998.
1998. Star Wars
The first prequel was like 1999, right?
release date.
19...
No, Sonic Adventure 1 on the Dreamcast came out. Hang on, how much? 7 years before Episode 3 of Star Wars. So Sonic.
They stole it from obscure Sonic.
E105 Zeta, E101 Beta.
Sonic's
Location
Robot
unknown.
Battle Arena. I mean, this would also be a cool game with Gummo.
I mean, there technically was like a Sonic battle game on like Game Boy or something, but it looked like it would be a pain to control. Because it was kind of like trying to attempt 3D, but on a Game Boy Advance, so it was kind of
God, that'd
2D
be
assets
sweating.
being warped to look
Yeah.
like 3D.
I think I know what the game we talked about. It's like the game, like their attempts to do like Super Smash Bros. Or whatever.
By the looks, yeah.
What was it called? Super Sonic
I
Brothers?
think it's Sonic Battle or something like that. I'll double check it. It's not to be confused with the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, that's a completely different thing. Sonic Battle Game Boy.
Accessible data. Hot shelter. E-series location confirmed.
Yeah, it's literally just called Sonic Battle. Wow, imaginative naming there.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Street Fighter is also called Street Fighter.
Well, I
like
mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's just about like the imagination of names. Sometimes even a simple one can be fit in.
Anyway, so Hot Shelter, this one can actually be a bit of a problem because the time limit on this one is actually pretty strict.
Oh.
If you dally on too long, you might end up with too little time at the end of the boss. Like in my practice run, I actually had a lot of trouble and I got to the boss with like less than like half a minute or so, so yeah.
How long do we need for the
this time
boss?
around, I did actually do a lot better and I ended up with a lot more time and a lot more profit, but yeah. You want to make sure you don't waste too much time when doing these things because you can easily find yourself in a situation where you waste too much time and you can't beat the boss because you don't have enough time to do so. Also, thing to note, if you get to a checkpoint, it will keep in mind how much time you had before then. So if you did badly in an earlier point, you might end up having too little time to complete the stage entirely.
wow.
Ooh, okay.
So it's one of these times where you can easily screw yourself over if you're not careful. But if you with a little bit of practice, you should be able to get through this without any problems.
I mean, to be fair, it's a lot better than in some games where when you reload at a checkpoint, like the timer continues from where you died off.
Yeah, that would be terrible. It doesn't do it here, it actually remembers what time it is when you actually enter the checkpoint.
Yeah.
So it won't screw you over here. Anyway, so these ones are kind of weird. You have to step on the buttons and a giant hand will come down and try to lift you towards the next part of the stage. And
Imagine like a vending machine where with a claw where you have to
Yeah,
find a
it's
spot. Hey, I got
It's like one of those crane games you have in arcade games.
Oh hey, it's a Sonic doll!
Again! Why are there so many in it?
Now I'm reminded like Yakuza, we can actually play like an actual crane game. And there's various side stories where you have to get various prizes for various people.
What's happening?
Anyway, we're on a train now.
Run away!
Not around.
The train is kind of awkward, but not too terrible. Basically, there are two trains on each side, and occasionally the one side will slow down and speed up, so you're able to access certain tracks on one of the other after a period of time. So yeah,
Although I
there's
have to
now
say, I like the speed in this level. How fast it is. Like the
yeah, it generally does
effective speed.
goes pretty fast. Besides, Gamma is not the super fastest. It is pretty high tempo. Also, if you fall off the track, Gamma will actually enter his helicopter mode, so you can actually get back on the track. It doesn't
Oh,
cause you to die,
nice.
so that's actually very good. So this stage is actually just a bit awkward with how like there, he's actually in the helicopter mode. And I just get myself stuck under.
Collision physics.
Yep. Oh, you get to see some good collision physics later on as well.
Oh boy.
Something you actually seen before, but
I want to point out, I just remembered, a while ago on, like, I think a few days ago, on Twitter, I remember seeing a post which I actually found quite entertaining regarding Sonic Adventure, and it said about the comparison between how people react to bugs in Super Mario 64 and how people react to bugs in Sonic Adventure 1. Where it's like, when there's a bug in Super Mario 64, people go, "Oh, well, it's fine. That was the early days of like 3D platformers. It's fine." But then when there's a bug in Sonic Adventure 1, everyone goes, "This game's shit. It's terrible. Why did Sega release this?"
I never played Super Mario 64 back in the day.
I
played
mean, Super
Sunshine.
Mario 64 was earlier.
yeah. Fun fact, I don't know if you can see it, but on the base of that robot, are just Dreamcasts.
E105 Zeta.
Those little sort of grey stripes at the base were Dreamcasts.
Anyway, for that boss, you have to shoot all the cannons, and that'll reduce its health. If you eliminate all the cannons, you win. It's not too hard actually, but you have to be mindful of the rock missiles it fires upon you. Anyway, we're almost done with the game now.
Woo!
E105 Zeta rescue complete.
Blowing the
Units
robots to pieces is
remaining.
considered rescuing.
Although
you're
I can't
obviously the
remember
animal,
that
so
the
it-
animation in Mario 64 were bad like in Sonic Adventures. I mean, that would be like a good test
Gamma.
comparison or something.
I can't clench my fists. They were not rigged for this purpose. Oh,
And there's Beta.
yeah.
Beta.
But not Cyborg.
I don't have to destroy myself. Yippee!
Yeah.
Anyway, we have to go fight Beta, and that will be the end of Gamma's story. Brief but fun. And in a moment, yep.
Hey! Hey!
Like Sonic's story, handrails are awful.
Yay!
I think the reason is probably because the handrails are actually too small, so it's considered like a staircase or anything.
Yeah, I guess so. Like maybe like a really thin collision box.
Yeah.
and-
Anyway, so Beta's boss battle is actually really fun. It's one of my favorite boss fights in the entire game. Since
Hey!
if you try to use the rockets, choose your blaster on Beta, he will just deflect them. So you have to wait for him to actually be vulnerable when doing his attacks. He also has a very different attacks from the rock launchers to this move. It like shoots little hyper beams at you. Overall, it's actually one of the most fun boss battles because it actually has a bit of a challenge without being unfair or ridiculous.
Oh,
It does look like it's quite short though, based on its current health.
so basically, Gamma's story is way too short, but it's overall very good.
It's a
Yeah,
lot. It's
I
easily
love
the best story in the entire game, to be honest. And the
Yeah.
attacks do get a little more complicated as time goes on, so it's not too easy.
I'm kind of wondering if Sega could have gotten away with just making a game about Gamma, but I'm kind of sort of wondering what you would replace Dr. Eggman with.
Maybe he helps Sonic against.
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh,
Anyway, so this goes on for a little bit of a while. I also want to point out that even in boss battles, time will start ticking down. So if you take too long, you could end up losing.
oh! I didn't notice that. Bloody hell!
Yeah, but fortunately, it's not too bad if you don't do it, if you know what you're doing, like I do. So we're almost done here. There we go. Final attack. Done.
Oh.
Also, the music is excellent as well.
Yes, it's like a Zamba or something.
Doesn't really sound very fitting for a boss fight, but that's just my taste.
Oh, it takes ever.
Mission complete.
Okay.
1
Took
year
it so
later.
It's
Eternal Torm.
still being electrocuted.
That's
Oh.
off-screen then.
Yeah, you
I
can hear it.
wonder if the reason why Gamma's sort of final victory animation is so much better than the other characters is that the animators at Sega did Sonic and Co first, and then as they kind of did it, they started to learn the animation tools a lot better, and so when they got
That
to
could
Gamma's
be the
animation,
case.
they knew exactly what to do. So
And they
I
didn't
don't know,
bother going
maybe it
back
was
to fix
practice.
the other ones. That wouldn't be unsurprising, actually.
Considering that I couldn't even find out what the budget of this game was, I don't even know what the process of the other
Cool
stuff
bots
was.
don't look at explosions except initially.
It actually did, so...
Exactly, that's why I said initially.
If you look at the explosion when it explodes, that's counted that's looking at them.
Yeah, and then he just turns away and walks away from it.
Yeah, that's not really the same thing. Also, I don't really think that
I know.
explosions are cool, but why would you want to not look at them? I mean,
Yeah.
Mythbusters, explosions are always like the coolest part. You don't want to look away from them. Especially how creative it
Surely
does
that terrifying. Surely that'd be terrifying if an explosion happened behind you and you weren't, and even if you were expecting it, just
Yes.
the sudden shock of it.
Yeah, and also
Especially-
like probable fragments could actually come after and hit you as well.
I mean, especially considering the fact that Sound. I love how we're
Yeah.
completely glossing over
What happened
what
is
Omega's doing, but also considering the fact that light travels faster than sound,
Mhm.
so you'd see the explosion before you
Yeah.
hear or even feel it.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Anyway, so Beta actually finished off Gamma beforehand, so that's why it's dying. But of course, we get to see that they were actually the birds of the little baby bird.
Cool
that-
birds
yeah.
don't look at explosions.
What the heck?
Screw it, robots can look at explosions, but birds can't. Oh,
Birds are stupid. They don't know anything. And-
So he gets like the super tragic story. Holy crap.
oh, that okay.
And this was like just before the events of like Amy's final story. So where their family gets reunited and everything.
Durr.
The dolls are
I just
hilarious.
love those puppet designs.
I want an actual plushie of those dolls.
Yeah, I want one as well.
They are so horrible, it's amazing. So
But for now,
dirty.
we can settle on Chinese bootlegs.
I want one with like actual bullet holes on them.
Three
Just
shots
get
Sonic.
one of Sonic with bullets in it, just to show how much you despise his character.
Yeah.
That's what Sega should do, actually. They should just make, like, really derpy plushes of, like, the main characters, but then have just bullet hole variants in case you just have characters you despise.
Battle damage Sonic dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be.
That would actually be probably possible considering Sonic series in general.
Yeah.
I come to think of it, I would not be surprised if, like, that sort of derpy plush thing became a thing, and then somebody in America, presumably, charged money to have, plushes sent to him so he could just shoot them with guns and then
Yeah.
send them back. It's like genuine wear and tear.
It's like how torn jeans are more valuable than actual perfectly
Yeah.
fine jeans.
Yeah.
So basically, a robot became self-aware, went against his maker, undid all the
Destroyed
damage,
his
and then
brethren.
died in the end. Holy crap! Like compared to the other story.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
in actuality, he is freeing the animals from the robot since
I
Wanted
know.
uses animals for his robot minions.
It's arguably I'd argue that it's actually a much more interesting story than the deal with chaos and,
It's
Yeah.
it's probably easily one of the best stories in general, Sonic stories in general, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, with exception to like games that doesn't have any real story, those are probably fine enough on its own. Because Sonic games are about the gameplay, not the story.
Don't forget
Yeah.
the burger shop. No, that's
Okay, the
just-
burger shop is probably.
Oh, come on. You didn't even give the opportunity to render. Oh.
Oh,
Okay, that's a shame. Like,
Gamma
give
was-
one last. Well, actually, no.
Never forget Gamma.
I take that back. It works effectively from an emotional level, I guess.
Anyway, we're ending recording.